Greetings to everybody. Welcome to all. Today we will finish the session sooner. Looks like Revered Daji would be giving a sitting at 8:30 p.m. India time, 11 a.m. EST, and 8 a.m. PST. So those of you who wish to meditate can join that also. So we were talking about talks on Gita from Vinobha Bhave and a topic on one-pointedness of the mind. This week I was reading something from Swami Vivekananda, and he calls Lord Buddha was a true karma yogi. Because I was pondering on that. Because when we look at Lord Buddha, we look at like he left his wife, left his child, left his kingdom, went into the woods, chewed leaves, meditated, had communion, and his teachings became Buddhism. And he never believed in the doctrine of God. So it was interesting to see Swami Vivekananda call Lord Buddha was a true karma yogi because they are great masters. Only a master knows the master. We from our level can never judge the masters. He says Buddha is the only prophet who said, I do not care to know various theories about God. What is the use of discussing all the doctrines about God and the soul? Buddha said, do good and be good, which will take you to freedom and whatever the truth that is there. And Swami Vivekananda says that Buddha had absolutely no personal motives. He had the highest sympathy for the lowest animals. So he was describing the state of the heart of Lord Buddha, that there was so much compassion and love that he had the highest sympathy for the lowest animals. He is the ideal karma yogi, and he acted entirely with no motives. Because Swami Vivekananda says, Buddha said that believe not because old manuscripts are produced, do not believe because the nation believes it, do not believe because you have been made to believe things from childhood. And Buddha says, reason it out. That made me think because that's exactly what our master says. Reason things, try things, test your master. And after you have analyzed it, live up to it and help others to live up to it. This was Buddha's message. This is the same message Daji is giving it to all of us. When you're practicing it, try the method, try the techniques and see if they have transformed you. And if they did it, if they transformed you, live up to it and help one more person. So Swamiji says that he works best who works with no motives. There's no motive for money, no motive for fame or anything. When a man can perform like that, he will be a true karma yogi like Buddha. And out of that state will come the power to work in such a manner that can transform the world. That's why they are the masters. He says, out of such work like Buddha comes the power to work in such a way that it can transform the world. This kind of man represents the very highest ideal of karma yoga. A man like Buddha is the example of the highest ideal of karma yoga. So we left off at one pointedness of mind. The yoga of mind consists chiefly of three important components according to Vinobha Bhave. One pointedness of mind, moderation and regulation in life to help attain one pointedness, equanimity and evenness in outlook. See, to arrive at the one pointedness, you have to be moderate and you have to have that equanimity. So, until that first point is balanced, we truly won't even know how to meditate. One pointedness of mind requires that the mind be restrained and its fickleness controlled. Moderation and regulation in life implies doing everything in a measured way with proper limits in balance, midstream. Equanimity and evenness in outlook means having a positive and a constructive outlook. These three together make up the yoga of meditation. There are two means to achieve these three. What three? One pointedness, moderation, and equanimity. One is constant practice, abhyas, and second is vairagya, non attachment, that is clarity. Non attachment is discriminative ability. Let us discuss these five in brief. Let us take one pointedness of mind. It is indispensable for any work. Even in worldly affairs, one needs concentration. It is not that the qualities needed for worldly success are different from those needed for spiritual progress. This we have to understand. That is why a lot of times people who are extremely successful in material life, the moment they come to divinity, they really jump because their mind has always been trained. It may have been in the direction of the money, or it may have been in the direction of education. But once they jump, the same mind starts to work in the other direction also. So that's why Vinobha Bhave says, both in worldly affairs and spirituality also we need one pointedness. It is not that the qualities needed for worldly success are different from those needed for spiritual progress. Spirituality means nothing but purification of worldly life. Business, scientific research, politics, diplomacy. In fact, take any activity, concentration of the mind is keys to success. It is said of Napoleon that after chalking out the strategy and developing the troops on the battlefield, he would lose himself in solving mathematical problems. Amidst heavy shelling and dying soldiers, he would sit absorbed in these problems. I am not suggesting that Napoleon's concentration was of the highest degree. One can give examples of even higher concentration. I just want to draw your attention to the level of his concentration. The same thing is said about Caliph Omar. Even when the battle was in progress, he would study his mind, kneel down, and start praying on the battlefield at the appointed hour. He would then be totally unaware of what was happening around. It was because of such devotion and one pointedness of the mind of the early Mohammedans that Islam spread far and wide. The other day, I heard a story about a Muslim ascetic. An arrow had pierced his body and stuck into it. The pain was unbearable, but any attempt to pull out the arrow resulted only in greater pain. Anesthetic agents like chloroform were not available in those days. Everybody was perplexed. Some who knew the ascetic well said, forget about the arrow for the time being. We shall pull it out when he starts his prayers. In the evening, at the appointed hour, the ascetic started his prayers. In a moment, his mind was so concentrated that he did not know when the arrow was pulled out. What a wonderful degree of concentration. Thus, success is hard to come by in temporal as well as in spiritual pursuits without one pointedness of the mind. So, here Babuji Maharaj helps us by helping us to fix the goal. At least the goal is fixed. The one pointedness of the goal is there for us. And then we move into the heart. And there the prana helps us to move our mind to one pointedness, to merge with the light. If you could make your mind one pointed, you will never be short of strength. Even if you are an old man of 60, you will have enthusiasm and strength of a young man. The mind should in fact go on getting stronger as one gets older. Look at the fruit. In the beginning it is raw, then it ripens, then decays. But the seed within gets harder and harder. The shell deteriorates and falls off, but that is not the essential part of the fruit. Its essential part is the seed. Similarly, memory should grow stronger and intellect should become sharper and more radiant as one ages. But this does not happen. People complain of failing memory and attribute the cause to their old age. But knowledge, wisdom, memory are like one's seed, one's essential part. Even as the body grows older and becomes infirm, the soul should become stronger. One pointedness of mind is necessary for this purpose. How to attain one pointedness of mind? How to attain it? What should be done for it? The Lord in the Gita says, one should fix the mind in the self and think of nothing else. Dhyana. But how to do this? To still the mind is extremely important. Concentration will always elude us if we do not forcefully stop and revolving wheels of thought. The outer wheel may perhaps be stopped somehow. We may put a stop to worldly activities, but the inner wheel continues to revolve. As we go on employing different means for the concentration of the mind, the inner wheel revolves all the faster. You may sit in this or that posture and fix your gaze. By itself, it will not achieve concentration of the mind. The most important thing is that one must be able to stop the inner wheel. Here, we don't have to worry about that because our simple technique of the heartfulness method is we take deep breath, let go, think that it is the master's thought, and come into the silence of the heart. The mind is crowded with the thoughts of limitless samsara affairs and happenings in the outside world. Concentration of the mind is impossible until all those thoughts are put off. We dissipate the self's boundless potential power of knowing in brooding over worldly trifles. It is this weakness of brooding. That is why Babaji gave the solution of let go. Because we have this habit of brooding, complaining, blaming, and our thought patterns have created such a habit that we can't stop. That is why we have the techniques at point A. A man who has become rich not by robbing others but through his own hard work will never squander his money. We too should not waste the self's power in gross and petty manners. This is very true. The other day I observed, I gave a sitting to a friend. She was so down and then she was so perked up. But before she left my house, she already left half of her energy. But she kept on talking about the world politics, the healthcare system. And here my husband was there listening and I was just observing. I gave this girl a sitting. By the time she left, half the energy was gone. So this is where the training and the discipline is needed. How are you spending your thought? Yeah, the master gives, but how are you spending it? We too should not waste the self's power in gross and petty matters. This power can lead us to enlightenment. It is our priceless treasure. But look how we waste this power. If we find at the dining table that there is not enough salt in the vegetable, we grumble and complain about it. Is it that important? This is misuse of our faculty of cognition. The children are taught within the four walls of the classroom. We are afraid that they would get distracted by the crows and the sparrows if they are taught in the open. Poor little children. Their minds can get concentrated if they do not see a cow or a sparrow. But what about us? We are grown ups. We have lost our innocence and have become worldly wise, and therefore cannot concentrate our minds even if we are kept within a seven walled fortress. We go on discussing merrily each and every trivial matter in the world. We go on expending our power of thought, which can lead us to the Lord, in discussing the taste of vegetables and pat ourselves on the back of this feet. So I will stop here and we will meditate for a short time. So those of you who would like to join Divya Daji's meditation can do so.